Welcome back. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba is standing by from Soweto, where the gathering has just concluded, of course, where the DA has officially announced Helen Zille as the mayoral candidate for the city of Johannesburg. Ziniko, talk to us a little bit about the other candidates. We heard Helen in that speech speaking about the fact that the other two gave a very stiff competition. What do we know about the other candidates, and why, of course, did Helen Zille stand out from the others?
Well, not much has been made public in terms of who other candidates were, but from the word and the experience and the interactions and the reports we've seen over the past few months was that one of the people was, touted as a front runner alongside Helen Zille was the current caucus leader of the DA caucus in the Johannesburg Council, and that is Belinda Nzanzojoku, who has been, in the front lines in terms of leading the DA, in terms of the councils, the debates and secretary protests, but also someone who has been taking interviews on behalf of the DA in the city of Johannesburg. So that was one person who was touted as a person who might be, fielded by the Democratic Alliance as the mayoral candidate. However, we know now that Helen Zille, has been officially revealed as the mayor, as the candidate mayor of the city of Johannesburg. This is also not surprising at all because, the DA has been saying that, well, a city of Johannesburg needs, an experience and an individual with a proven track record. And of course, they were referring to the work Helen Zille has done in the Western Cape, especially in that metropolitan municipality, the city of Cape Town, but also her time as well as the premier of the Western Cape. But there were critics as well who were saying that, well, the DA does not seem to be having faith in its own young leaders, especially when it comes to serious deployments such as mayoral candidates, especially in Gauteng. You would know that at some point the DA had fielded a Msimanga back then, and he was defeated by Parkstow, and then they went on to recruit, Mhlaba to be their mayoral candidate as well. However, he also did not, last as a mayor. He did win the elections though. However, due to internal party politics within the DA, he was ousted. We also saw Dr. Mpho also coming through as well as the mayor of the DA. Now we will be having a Democratic Alliance fielding a veteran within its own rank, Helen Zille. But to give us more details and more insights to your question, Veronica, in terms of who were the other candidates, I'm joined now by Mr. Msimanga, the DA leader in Gauteng. Say, maybe give us more insights in terms of who was up against Helen Zille and what influenced the selection panel to go for Helen Zille despite other young leaders, especially if you consider a person like Belinda and many others who might have not been popular.
Well, let me explain the process to you. So we're the only political party in South Africa that actually went out to the public. We asked people, members of the public, to put in nomination or to come in and say, I'm willing to put up my hand, because we wanted to get as much talent as we possibly can. We had very interesting applications that come through. Some of the big entities, CEOs of big entities, big businesses, that came out. Unfortunately, some of them wanted to remain anonymous because they're still running those entities. And once it became very clear that we wanted somebody to be available now on a campaign trail up to the end of the election, some of them then decided that no, I cannot, if I'm not guaranteed that I'm going to get into the seat. So unfortunately, along the way, some of them fell out. So what ended up happening is that we then went through a series of testings. So we did psychometric testing of the candidates. We did then a testing where a scenario was done. Scenarios were given to candidates to go and put what they will do for in Joburg around those scenarios. And then there was a set of interviews that had been conducted. By the way, it's not as if the selection panel then were influenced, to go for one. There's quite a number of things that end up there and happening there, and the scores that come from different sections that get to then say who your ultimate candidate candidate is. And Helen, I think, given the fact that, she has been the mayor, a changed mayor, she has been a premier twice, and these are things that, really stood out at the end of the day.
But exactly on that point, Mr. Msimanga, I will say the DA is recycling leaders, because this is the person who almost retired from politics after serving as a Cape Town mayor, as a premier, and now back within the internal politics of the DA, still active there. But in terms of, the on-the-ground politics, especially in governments, one would say you are recycling Helen Zille. It means that you do not have any other options, especially when it comes to cities such as Johannesburg.
No, that is not the truth. I think we've had quite a mix, bag of people that we're using. Jordan is one of the youngest mayor that you ever find in South Africa. Peter Taxera is a young person that you find.
But I'm talking about Joburg.
Hold on. No, you said the DA. Now the DA is not only running for Johannesburg; it's running across South Africa. So you need to then look at it broadly. And I'm responding to you in that way, that we're not looking at it from just a Joburg perspective. We're looking at it in a broader spectrum. But also, here's the thing about Johannesburg. Johannesburg will need a change agent, somebody with a proven track record of being able to do something. Cape Town was a mess. We were able to then get it right. Western Cape was a mess. We were able to then get it right. Perhaps what Johannesburg needs now is a shot of experience to be able to then pull all the elements of what can actually be done right in Johannesburg, and then that's where we will be able to then get it right. So does it come with experience of somebody who is aged? So be it. If the person still got the energy to be able to then do the job, so be it. If the president can endorse the DA and what the Mama Zille and the others have done, so be it. The people of Johannesburg deserve that.
Let's talk about the current state now of governance at local government. You are living in times of coalitions. We know that Helen Zille herself has always said that the DA must be given a straight, outright majority. How are you going to approach these upcoming elections now, considering that we might be talking about coalitions as we've seen, especially in Johannesburg? How will be the approach of the DA under the leadership of Helen Zille when it comes to coalitions, looking at the parties the DA has partnered with before and the parties that the DA can likely partner with going forward?
Well, first of all, is that we have gone now and looked at our numbers from the 2024 elections, and we looked at where we did perform. And I can actually tell you that the numbers look very, very good. If the numbers in 2024 were anything to go by, and we know that dynamics that change between local and national elections, but if the numbers are anything to go by, we'll do very, very well here. And what we have now started doing is to start building our structures on the ground, because our structures were destabilized in 2021, especially here in Johannesburg. Musi, Herman destabilized quite a number of our structures. We've rebuilt those. We're glad now that we remained with people that were loyal and they built strong structures. That's what we're going to need to then do. So we're not going into these elections hoping to come number 2. We're hoping to come number 1. If we don't get to that 50 plus 1, we want to then get as close, to that 50 plus 1, so that you don't have to have so many coalition partners, because that's where sometimes the problem comes in. There's a dependence on so many parties, this one wanting that one wanting that. And what we are also saying is that our central core message is that whoever that we might need to then coalesce with going forward, we'll now need to then ensure that we have an understanding of putting the people first, not getting this one's position first on that one position. And that's the lessons that we have learned the previous time around. And I think this is what we're going to implement going forward.
Now that the DA has announced who will be leading its campaign in Johannesburg beyond now, especially going to the local government elections, can we expect any changes within the Johannesburg Council right now after this announcement? But also, are we likely going to see any further attempts of unseating the current administration led by Dada Morelo? So from here now, any possible impact on how the Johannesburg is run currently?
Well, we need our mayoral candidate to be on the ground, not necessarily in council at this point in time, but we need her to be on the ground, to go on a listening tour, to go to literally every community, to go and listen and to hear, what is happening on the ground. And, we then want to then see a manifesto that is informed by what would have been picked up on the ground. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this person will now need to then go into that position now in the city of Johannesburg.
Mr. Msimanga, thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. That's Mr. Msimanga there, the DA leader in Gauteng, just giving us more context and insights in terms of how the party decided to field Helen Zille, veteran and current federal chairperson of the DA Council. Well, that's where we are right now. Helen Zille will be contesting for power in Johannesburg. So that's where we're going to leave things here in Soweto, and Newzroom Afrika continues after the break.